I spent the first half of my career watching companies hand their AI strategy to IT departments. That's like asking the people who maintain the elevator to redesign the building. Here's what actually happens inside large organizations when AI arrives. The top-down deployment plan meets reality, and reality wins. Every time. Most companies are still thinking about AI like it's software you install. Wrong layer, wrong decade. Let me show you why this matters. In 1963, Kurt Vonnegut wrote a novel called Cat's Cradle. In it, the world ends because of a crystal at ice 9. Just water, but the molecules are arranged differently. More stable. Here's the terrifying part. Drop a tiny piece into normal water and it acts like a seed. The molecules it touches snap into the new structure. Then the next molecules, then the next. It spreads through contact. One irreversible pattern, spreading until the entire ocean locks solid. Vonnegut was writing about nuclear anxiety. He accidentally described how AI moves through an organization. Vonnegut didn't invent this. He learned it from a Nobel laureate chemist at General Electric. In real chemistry, it's called a disappearing polymorph. A new molecular structure appears, more stable than the old one. It spreads by contact. The original form becomes nearly impossible to recreate. The new pattern just keeps asserting itself. That's the thesis. AI inside a large company is not a technology you install. It's an irreversible phase change that you seed. Once it starts, you don't get the old structure back. You manage what comes next. Most companies are treating AI like a server upgrade. Procurement buys 1,000 licenses. A steering committee forms. Consultants arrive with roadmaps. Everything flows from the top down. It feels disciplined, controlled. But having the tool isn't the same as knowing how to work with it. A phase change moves the opposite direction, bottom up, person to person, like ice 9 spreading through water. Someone who gets it sits next to someone who doesn't. They show them how the work itself can change, not in theory, in practice. The new pattern spreads by contact. You cannot command fluency from the top. That's the category error most enterprises are making right now. They're trying to install what can only be seeded. Look at this curve. We call it the adoption trap. Fluency spreads like a contagion. Slow at first, then sudden, then it plateaus. But focus on that shaded area, the first 12 months. For a solid year, it looks like almost nothing is happening. Even if you're deliberate, maybe 5% of your people are functionally fluent by month 12. To an impatient leadership team, that reads exactly like failure. And that's the exact moment most leaders pull the plug, right before the line turns vertical. Now look at time to fluency across a typical 30,000 person firm. The difference in velocity is absurd. Cautious path. Start with 100 seeds, each bringing 2 colleagues up to speed every 3 months. You hit 90% fluency in about 34 months. Not terrible, but look at the aggressive route. 300 seeds. 6-week cycles instead of 12. Same spread by contact method, just faster handoffs. You flip the entire enterprise in 7 months. 7 months versus 34. Same mechanism, different settings. That's not a marginal improvement. That's a different outcome. Now let's talk about cost, because executives care about dollars. 180 million versus 24 million. That's the 3-year difference between forcing a top-down transformation and seeding one from the bottom up. Same outcome, 7 times the cost. The irony? Most finance teams will approve the expensive one because it looks like a plan. Let me show you the line items. Traditional transformation path. $75 million on external consulting. $30 million on platforms. $18 million just for a program office that schedules meetings about the transformation. You can burn through 9 figures before you know if it worked. And the target keeps moving. AI resets every few months anyway. Compare that to seeding. You pay for enablement. You upskill small cohorts. You buy licenses only when people actually use them. Here's the part nobody mentions. By the consulting industry's own numbers, 7 out of 10 traditional transformations miss their targets entirely. They're spending all that money before the learning even starts. Look at what that actually means financially. The brown line is your traditional transformation. It burns cash for years, drops 110 million underwater by month 36, even if everything goes perfectly, which it won't. Now look at the green line, that's seeding. It dips slightly negative, crosses into profit around month 17, then just compounds upward. One path hemorrhages capital while committees debate readiness. The other one spends money only as the capability spreads. The board will ask which one has more PowerPoint slides. Pick accordingly. #AI transformation ROI analysis. So here's the expected value. The seeding approach delivers a 625% positive return on your spend over 3 years. The transformation approach, negative 92%. It bleeds cash. Just straight losses. A centralized transformation is a high-cost, slow-moving bet on a target that resets every 6 months. Now you're thinking, what if our productivity gains aren't that high? Here's the sensitivity analysis. Even if your blended productivity uplift is a cautious 3% across the entire workforce, seeding still delivers a 330% return. Every single row. Seeding stays positive. Transformation stays underwater. That tells you the fundamental structure of this strategy is sound, regardless of your precise numbers. The math doesn't care how optimistic you are. It cares which method you choose. If you want to see where this heads next, follow for more. I need to hit this hard because most leaders are getting it completely wrong. You cannot seed what you do not carry. In any company, leaders are the structural super spreaders. But a leader who just delegates the learning down, who tries to narrate the AI strategy from the safety of a high-level briefing without ever touching the tools, that leader is a seed crystal made entirely of glass. Nothing is ever going to form around them. Here's the real psychological blocker. Senior people hate looking like novices in front of their teams. They will do almost anything to avoid fumbling around in public. I've watched executives spend 4 months studying vendor decks, so they never have to admit they've never actually written a prompt. But here's the problem. Visible learning in public is the exact mechanism that allows fluency to spread. If you try to manage around that discomfort, you kill the phase change before it starts. 4 questions. Every leader should ask about AI fluency. So let's make this actionable. 4 questions every director and CEO needs to be asking right now. 1. Are senior people visibly using these tools or just sponsoring them from a comfortable distance? 2. How exactly is fluency spreading? By contact, person to person, or is it just another corporate memo? 3. What has actually changed about how the work gets done? Not what's been piloted. What's changed? And 4. What structural blockers are you actively removing? Things like rigid permissions, bad incentives, fear of making mistakes in public. If you can't answer all 4, you don't have a seeding strategy. You have a deployment plan that thinks it's a transformation. I want to share a real-world cautionary tale about the HIV drug ritonavir. In 1998, the drug suddenly stopped working. Not because anyone changed the formula, because a new crystal structure spontaneously appeared during manufacturing, more stable, but completely insoluble. Once it appeared, the manufacturer could not get the old form back. It was permanently lost. What finally rescued the drug wasn't trying to force the old crystal back into existence from the top down. They had to build an entirely new formulation around the new reality of the chemistry. Once a phase change happens, you cannot reverse it. You build around what it has become. The future of AI capability will not be installed. It will crystallize. You don't beat a phase change by reaching for your largest transformation program. The companies that win aren't launching massive multi-year IT overhauls. They're the ones where fluency became contagious, where it spread from person to person organically until it was utterly impossible to reverse. Once the new structure takes hold, you don't get the old one back. You manage what comes next. Hashtag AI phase change strategy. So here's the question that actually matters. Look at your organization right now. Look at your strategy, your leadership team, your culture. Which side of the phase change are you on? Are you trying to command the ocean to freeze from the comfort of a boardroom? Or are you out there seeding the crystal where the work actually happens? Think about that. If you want to know what happens next, follow for more.